I am Stephen Ramirez and I am here to talk about Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant is a German philosopher which is born in 1734 and died at 1804. His philosophy is all about the supreme principle of morality and the categorical imperative, or the CEI. Kant are justified by these principles, which means that immoral actions are all irrational. It's because they violated the CEI, or the categorical imperative. Philosophers like Hobbes, Locke, and Aquinas also argue that the moral requirements are based on the standards and rationality. However, the standards are instrumental principle of rationality. His comprehensive and systematic work in epistemology, or the study of knowledge, ethics, and aesthetics, greatly influenced all subcaste philosophies, especially the various schools of Kantianism and idealism. And here is one of his theories. Actions, they are always good, are called or categorically good.
Hi guys, I'm Armando Pimicias Jr. Today I'm gonna share you who is Immanuel Kant, and we'll also talk about his philosophy and his definition of morality. So, who was Immanuel Kant? So, Immanuel Kant was one of the most influential intellectuals in the field of political philosophy. Today, justice systems in democracies are fundamentally based on Kant's writings. Kant's moral philosophy is a deontological normative theory, which is to say, he rejects the utilitarian idea that the rightness of an action is a function of how fruitful its outcome is. So he says that the motive or means and not consequence or end of an action determines its moral value. To live ethically, one must never treat another human being as a means to some greater end. Human beings, by virtue of their unique ability to reason, are different from other forms of physical existence. Also, Kant wrote that without rationality, the universe would be a waste, in vain, and without purpose. So the only way to preserve such consciousness, which is unique to the universe, or at least the earth, is by treating all humans as ends in and of themselves. So it's alright to eat food to satiate hunger, but stealing is wrong as it deprives the owner of her private property. So that's all about Kant's moral philosophy.
Biography 1724 to 1804. Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher during the Enlightenment era of the late 18th century. His best-known work is the Critique of Pure Reason. Who is Immanuel Kant? While tutoring, Immanuel Kant published science papers, including General Natural History and Theory of the Heavens in 1755. He spent the next 15 years as a metaphysics lecturer. In 1781, he published the first part of Critique of Pure Reason. He published more critiques in the years preceding his death on February 12, 1804, in the city of his birth. Early life. Kant was the fourth of 9 children born to Johann Georg Kant, a harness maker, and Anna Regina Kant. Later in his life, Immanuel changed the spelling of his name to Kanto to adhere to German spelling practices. Both parents were devout followers of Pietism, an 18th-century branch of the Lutheran Church. Seeing the potential in the young man, a local pastor arranged for the young Kant's education. While at school, Kant gained a deep appreciation for the Latin classics. In 1740, Kant enrolled at the University of Königsberg as a theology student, but was soon attracted to mathematics and physics. In 1746, his father died and he was forced to leave the university to help his family. For a decade, he worked as a private tutor for the wealthy. During this time he published several papers dealing with scientific questions exploring the middle ground between rationalism and empiricism. Full-fledged scholar and philosopher. In 1755, Immanuel Kant returned to the University of Königsberg to continue his education. That same year he received his doctorate of philosophy. For the next 15 years, he worked as a lecturer and tutor and wrote major works on philosophy. In 1770, he became a full professor at the University of Königsberg, teaching metaphysics and logic. In 1781, Immanuel Kant published The Critique of Pure Reason, an enormous work and one of the most important on Western thought. He attempted to explain how reason and experiences interact with thought and understanding. This revolutionary proposal explained how an individual's mind organizes experiences into understanding the way the world works. Kant focused on ethics, the philosophical study of moral actions. He proposed a moral law called the categorical imperative, stating that morality is derived from rationality and all moral judgments are rationally supported. What is right, and what is wrong. There is no gray area. Human beings are obligated to follow this imperative unconditionally if they are to claim to be moral. Later years and death. Though the Critique of Pure Reason received little attention at the time, Kant continued to refine his theories in a series of essays that comprised the Critique of Practical Reason and Critique of Judgment. Kant continued to write on philosophy until shortly before his death. In his last years, he became embittered due to his loss of memory. He died in 1804 at age.
My name is Maria Fe Lucero. According to Immanuel Kant's beliefs, Kant also argued that his ethical theory requires belief in free will, God, and the immortality of the soul. Although we cannot have knowledge of these things, reflection on the moral law leads to a justified belief in them, and which is amounts to a kind rational faith. According to his view of human nature, he argues that the human understanding is the source of general laws of nature that structure all our experience, and that human reason gives itself the moral law, which is our basis for belief in God, freedom, and immortality. So how did Immanuel Kant change the world? Kant introduced a way of thinking about the relation of the human mind to the object world and established a powerful method of moral reasoning. He changed the entire world by providing a new way of thinking about how the human mind relates to the world. So that's all, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed the short biography of Immanuel Kant.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Psych 101. So today, we will talk about Immanuel Kant and his moral philosophy. What is Kantian ethics? Kantian ethics are a set of universal moral principles that apply to all human beings, regardless of context or situation. Before we continue, who was Immanuel Kant? Immanuel Kant is a German philosopher born on April 22, 1724 in Königsberg, Prussia, whose comprehensive and systematic work in epistemology, ethics, and aesthetics greatly influenced all subsequent philosophy, especially the various schools of Kantianism and idealism. Kant's definition of morality. Kant's moral philosophy is a deontological normative theory. According to these theories, the rightness or wrongness of actions does not depend on their consequences, but on whether they fulfill our duty. Kant believed that there was a supreme principle of morality, and he referred to it as the categorical imperative. Deontology means a theory that suggests actions are good or bad according to a clear set of rules. Categorical imperative is a universal ethical principle stating that one should always respect the humanity in others, and that one should act in accordance with rules that would hold for everyone. People have a duty to do the right thing even if it produces a bad result, so it would be wrong to tell a lie in order to save a friend from being a murderer. An overall understanding on his moral philosophy is that you need to do the right thing. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Don't do wrong things. Avoid them because they are wrong.